Good morning, Year 4, and welcome to Thursday's Maths for this week. Okay, so for our starter this morning, I want you to think about some of these division questions, and my hint would be, to help you to work it out, is to use that part-whole model. Okay, pause the video, have a go, and we'll go through them in a minute. Okay, so we had 84 and we divided it by 3. So what I need to be doing here is thinking, well, how would I split 84 to divide it by 3? Okay, well, if I was dividing by 3, I would be using 60. So I would probably do 60 and 24. Because I know, well, 80 isn't in the 3 times table because 8 isn't in the 3 times table. So I've chosen 60 because I know 6 is in the 3 times table. If I then divide that by 3, I get 10. Oh no, sorry. I get 20 because 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 60 divided by 3 is 20. And then I know 24 is in the 3 times table. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So I get an answer of 28. Then from here, I didn't need to do much more work because I know then that 85 is one more than 84. So I know that if 84 divided by 3 is 28, this must be 28 remainder 1 because it's one more and I couldn't make another 3. And then if I go one less than 84, I must have less lots of 3. I would have 27, and the highest remainder I can have is remainder 2. Right, okay, so 490 divided by 7. Well, I'm going to use something I really know here about the 7 times table. I know a fact in the 7 times table is 7 times 7 equals 49. So I also know that 49 divided by 7 will be 7. And then I know that if I know 49 divided by 7 is 7, then I know this is 10 times bigger, so this must be 70. Hopefully you got there with those. A bit tricky start this morning. Don't think there are any more. No, that's it. Okay, so now we're going to be dividing 3 digits by 1 digit. Okay, so we're still doing division, but this time we're going to be dividing slightly bigger numbers, 3 digits by 1 digit. So we can see here 609 has 3 digits, and dividing it by 3, that's 1 digit. Okay, so just like we did before, we're just going to now be taking hundreds, okay, and putting those. So I've got 100 there, 100 in there, 100 in there, I've got 100 in here, 100 here, and 100 here. Well, that's good. They go in without any remainders. That's brilliant. Then there aren't any 10s to share out, so I'm just going to go ahead and share the ones. So I've got 9 ones. So let me just count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's all of my ones done. And I can see that when I divide 609 by 3, I get 200, no 10s and 3 ones, so that will be 203. Okay, let's move on then. So if I've got 576 divided by 4, well, I'm going to start by sharing out my hundreds. So 100 here, 100 here, 100 here, and 100 here. Then just like before, if I've only got 100 left, okay, I then need to exchange that for 10 so that I can continue to share them out. So now I've got 10 more 10s, so that's 10 lots of 10. So I've got 7 10s and 10 10s is 17 10s. So I'm going to start sharing 17 10s now into here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, I said 17, didn't I? Well, I can't do that 17, so I've got another 110 left. Okay, so I've done those 10 10s. Now I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to have to exchange this one for 10 ones. So now I've got 10 ones. Okay, so that gives me 16 ones to share out. So off I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Perfect, it fits completely in there now. So now I just need to look at how many is in each row. So I've got 100, 4 tens and 4 ones. So I've got 144. Okay. We could also show this through the part whole model. So remember, we don't have to do this at lots of counters sharing out. We can use a part whole model as well. Again, if I'm dividing by 4, I know that 400 will be in the 4 times table because 4 is in the 4 times table, 40 is in the 4 times table, so 400 will be in the 4 times table. I also know that 160 will be in the 4 times table because 16 is in the 4 times table, so 160 will be, and then there is 16 left. And actually that ends up being exactly what we did over here. We had 400 shared out, we did 16 tens, and we did 16 ones. Okay, and then we get the same answer because we get 400 divided by 4 is 100, 160 divided by 4 is 40, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So we still get the same answer of 144, but we do it using numbers rather than counters. Either way of doing that is fine. Okay then, so if we had 115 divided by 5, I'm just going to pause this here. I'm wondering if you could have a little go at this one. So pause it, think about using a part whole model or counters, and then come back and we will go through it. Okay then, so there was only 100 and I can't put 100 into 5 groups because there's only one of them. So straight away I'm going to be changing that for 10 tens. So I'm just going to remind myself that is 10 tens. So now I've got 1 10 here and 10 tens here, that's 11 tens altogether. So I'm going to start sharing tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I had 11 tens, didn't I? So this 1 10, so that's my 10 tens, that was my 100, is all shared out. But then I've only got 1 10 here to share between all the tens. I can't do that. So now I'm going to exchange this 10, and that's going to be for me 10 ones now. So it's not a 10 anymore, it's going to be 10 ones. So I've got 10 ones, 15 ones altogether. So I'm going to now share out my 15 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so perfectly fitted. There were no remainders, there was nothing left over. So now I just need to have a look at each group. So I've got 23 in each group. 23. Again, just to remind you, you could do this with a part whole model. If you know 10 divided by 5 is 2, 100 divided by 5 will be 20, and then with there's 15 left over, 15 divided by 5 is 3, and you get the same answer there of 23, but we did it using numbers rather than using counters. Again, either way is fine. Okay then, so if we had 765 divided by 5, if we had 201 divided by 3, just have a little think. How would you go about doing those? Okay, when you're ready and you've had a think about it, press play. So if I had 765 and I wanted to divide it by 5, I would begin by doing my 5 rows. Okay, so I'd need 5 rows because I'm dividing by 5. And then I would be putting in 3, 4, 5. Then 200s, well, I can't do that with 200s. What I'd have to do is exchange those for 10s. So I'd have 26 10s altogether because each of those is 10 10s, isn't it? So that's 10, 20, 6 10s. So what I'm going to do now is start counting out my 26 10s. So 1, it's going to be tricky to fit them in my small little grid, isn't it? 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's clone those. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and the 26th one I'm going to have to exchange for ones because I can't put any more in there. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off now. So I know now that instead of having 5 ones now, I've got 15 ones, and I'm going to start sharing those 15 ones out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I've got 15 now shared out. So I've shared out 765. Gosh, that was a long question, wasn't it? So we've got 100 and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 3. So our answer for that one would be 153. Okay, so if then I was going to change that and do 201 divided by 3, how would that change? I'm just going to check here. So what we would have to do for this one is instead of having 5 groups, we would have 3. So this time I'm just going to draw something quite quickly. I'd have my tens, hundreds, tens and ones, wouldn't I? So hundreds, tens, and ones. And I wouldn't have 5 groups this time, I would have 3. 2, 3. So I would have, so I'm sharing 200 divided by 3. So I've only got 200s, haven't I? So I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to, I'm just going to grab another 1 from over here because I've got 201, haven't I? 201. So in this instance now I've got 200, but I can't do 200 shared between 3, okay, because there's only 2 of them. So I'm going to have to exchange all of those for 10s. So instead of having 200s, I'm going to see that like 20 10s. So I'm going to start sharing out 10s now. Let me put my cloner back on. So I've got to count out 20 10s for my 200s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 17, 18, and then I've got 2 left, 19, 20. So that's not going to work for those 2 10s because I could only put 10s into the first and the second group. So what I'm going to have to do now is exchange my last 2 10s, so the 19th and the 20th 10, for 1s. So now I've got 21 1s, okay, and then I'm going to be sharing those 1s between those groups. You can see when you're doing it this way and you get bigger numbers, it takes quite a long time, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so we've got there in the end. So we can see then we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 in each of the 10s. And I think this is the easiest one to count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the answer would be 67. Now you may be saying, well, Mrs. Martin, there was a much quicker way of doing that. Okay, so you might be wishing to use your knowledge of the part whole model here to make that a little bit quicker. So you might find that a little bit quicker. So for example, if I was doing 765, I would just do one of these with the part whole model. So if we did 765 with the part whole model, I would have 765. I would probably partition that into 500 because I know that fact, 500 divided by 5. Then I've got 265 left, so I might do the 200 and then the, oh actually no, I might do 250 even. I'll explain that in a minute. 250, so that's 750 and then 15. Okay, because I know that 500 divided by 5 is 100. Okay, and 250 divided by 5 is 50, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. So I still get to that answer of 153, but by using a times tables fact that I know, it can make it a bit quicker than using all of the counters. Okay, so if I had 776 divided by 4, how could I split my 776 to help me divide by 4? Well, I would probably do 400 straight away because I know that fact. A pity it wasn't over 800 because that would have been a lot of it, but that's okay. So we've got 376 left. Okay, well, I'm going to use facts from my 4 times table. I know 36 is in the 4 times table, so I could have 360, because if 36 is in the 4 times table, then 360 will be in the 4 times table. So now I've got 760 and there is just 16 left. Okay, a quick way to do this sometimes is just to write down the numbers in the times table that you're dividing by. 20, 24, 28, 28. I can do 32, 36 and 40. If I know all those numbers are in the 4 times table, I also know that these numbers, if I add a 0 on them, because they're just 10 times bigger, will also be in the 4 times table. Okay, because it's just 10 times bigger. So that's how I know that 360 will be in the 4 times table. Then I use what I know about the 4 times table to complete that. So if I go back here, so 400 divided by 4, then I know if 4 divided by 4 is 1, and this is 100 times bigger, this will be 100. 36 then is 9 4s. So 36 divided by 4 will be 9, so 360 divided by 4 will be 90. And then 16, well, that's just in the 4 times table, and it's 4 times 4. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. And then all I need to do is add these 3 things together. So 100, 90 and 4 gives me 194. Okay. Have a go then at questions 1 to 5 on the worksheet and then come back. Okay, so 638 then divided by 3. How might we go about partitioning this one? Well, I would probably do 600. And I'm going to explain that again, because if I quickly write down my 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36. Looking 3s, Mrs. Martin. Okay, I can see 6 is in the 3 times table, so 600 must be. I know that. So 6 divided by 3 is 2, so 600 divided by 3 will be 200 because that's 100 times bigger. Then I've got 38 left. Well, I'm going to do 30 because I know that fact, and then I'm going to do 8. So 30 divided by 3 is 10. Then 8 divided by 3, well, I get 2 3s, which is 6, and then a remainder of 2. So we can see then by getting that smaller amount at the end, you can see the remainder really clearly. So here I've got then 210, 212, remainder 2. So 212, remainder 2. Have a pause here See if you can part whole model 708 divided by 7 and 865 divided by 4. Then press play and I'll go through them. Okay, so we should have had 708 at the top. Using my knowledge of sevens, I would be definitely putting 700 in here. Then I would be thinking, well, there's nothing there, and we've got 8 over here. Over here then, dividing by 4, so we've got 865. I'd probably be partitioning this one with 800, 40 and 25. You could have done it differently, and it doesn't mean you'll get the wrong answer. So if you did it differently, don't worry for a minute. Then what we need to do is we need to do the division. So we're dividing by 7. So when I divide 7 by 7, I get 1. If I divide 700 by 7, I get 100. This will be a 0. And when I divide 8 by 7, I'll get 1 7, and then there's 1 left over. In this instance then, we were dividing by 4. So divide by 4. Well, we know that 8 divided by 4 is 2. So 800 divided by 4 will be 200. Because this is 100 times bigger rather than 10 times bigger. 80 divided by 4 will be 20. 800 divided by 4 will be 200. 40 divided by 4 is 10. And 25 divided by 4, well, 24 is in the 4 times table. It's 6, isn't it? And then there will be 1 left over. And then all we have to do is to add these things up and share the remainder. So I've got 101 remainder 1. 101 remainder 1. And then for 865 divided by 4, I've got 210, 216 remainder 1. So we can put in 216 and then that R1, remainder 1. Okay, so Tom has £317. He gives each of his 5 grandchildren an equal amount of pounds. How much money does Tom have left? So we're looking now, aren't we, that there'll be a remainder in this question. And if it's for 5 grandchildren, okay, so he's got 5 grandchildren, that means we're dividing by 5, okay, and they have to have whole pounds, so we need to remember that as well. Okay then, so we've got 317. And how are we going to split that to divide by 5? Well, I think I could do 300 divided by 5, and I'll explain why in a moment. I can do 10 divided by 5, and I can do 7 divided by 5. You could even do 17 here, but I'm going to split it up this way. Remember, when you're doing this, so 5, 10, just think of that times table, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm going to stop there because this is the reason I chose 300. Okay, if I had 30 and I divided it by 5, I would get 6, but I've got 300, so this will be 60. Then I've got 10 divided by 5, which I know really easy is 2 5s, so that will be 2. And 7 divided by 5, I would get 1, 5, and then a remainder of 2. Okay, so I can see here that each of the grandchildren would have got 62, 63 pounds, and they would be whole pounds. They get 63 whole pounds each. But that's not what the question's asking me. It's asking me how much money does Tom have left. So what he has left is the remainder. And I could put 2 here, but that wouldn't be quite right because this question is about money, isn't it? So he doesn't just have 2 anything left, he has £2 left. Okay, so if you were answering that as a problem, you would need to answer it with a money answer. Okay, so we know that he'd have £2 left because of the maths we did, but to answer the question, we have to put that into pounds. Okay, so that's the end. Have a go at questions 6 to 9 now on the worksheet, and that will take you up to the end of today's lesson. If you're stuck on anything, do get in touch, send an email, go back to the video, watch bits of the video again if you just need a little bit of help with the part whole models, or you're thinking you'd rather use counters. Don't forget to send your work, and I will speak to you again tomorrow.